right, so welcome back. Like from our last session yesterday, we stopped at the point where we're trying to get started with, we're done with authentication, we're trying to start working with Cloud Firestore database. So from where we stopped yesterday, we're trying to create an adapter for a recycler view. So I'm going to switch back to Android Studio now. So here we are back in Android Studio. I think I have to undo a lot of stuff. Okay, so this is our adapter. This is our adapter, and I still have to undo a lot of stuff. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is the much Android you can do for now. Give me a moment. All right, so this is how our adapter looked yesterday before we ended our session. So we need to change this, like this is wrong. This is supposed to be recycler view.adapter, so we need to change that. Sorry about that, so change that. And the next thing we need to do, we need to add a field. We need to add a field, so the field is a list of type note, and we're going to call it M note list. So that's our field. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a constructor for our NotesAdapter class. So hit Command plus N if you're on Mac OS, or I think Alt Insert or Control Alt Insert on Windows. I'm not sure which one, but it's either. So you select constructor here, and we have just one field, so select that field, and this is our constructor. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to get rid of this red line here. So we're getting this warning because we have not implemented a certain method. So if we hit Alt Enter, you can also select implement methods, and Android Studio is going to bring out the method. So we need all three methods. So you can just select OK, and we implement those methods. So with that, okay, with that, we've gotten rid of that red line. So the other red line we're having right now is this, because we've not created this class. If you want to also hit Alt Enter and say create class, but I'm just going to create a class manually. So I can just come down here and I'll say public class note view holder extends recycler view dot view holder. So that's our method. Also, to get rid of this warning, we need to create a constructor. So we can still do Command N and select constructor. So that is done. Okay, so I'm going to have to make some changes to this constructor here. So if I delete it and I create it again, it's going to be better. Okay. So we delete this constructor, we don't need that. So that's our adapter. So the next thing we needed to do was to create a new XML file. I've already created that file here. So we needed to create a new XML file, NotesItem. So this is just a layout file. To create the file, you right click on the layout folder and select new, and you select layout resource file, and you type the name. So the name, you choose NotesItem. You can name it wherever you want. So we type the name, and we added some views to it. So these are text views. We have 3 text views. Our parent layout is a linear layout, and we specify IDs for those text views. So we're going to be using these text views in our adapter. So this file, and one thing to note about this file, this NotesItem files, is that the file represents a single list item on our app. So our app is going to show a list of notes that the user can scroll and see notes he has created. So this layout represents one single item on that list. So one thing by default, I think when you create this file, Android is going to give it a height of match parent. So it's important you change that height to wrap content so it doesn't fill the whole screen. So this is this file. So we can go back to our adapter now. And this is here, we are back in our adapter. So it's important we change on this method that's returning 0 get item count. It's recommended to change it to mNoteList.size. So it returns the actual size of our list. Like if you have a note, if you've taken 6 notes on your note-keeping app, it's going to return 6 for item count. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is on our view holder, we're going to be creating fields to represent the views, the layout views on our item, on our NotesItem XML on this file. The views in this file, the views here. So let's start. So all the views we're interested in there, they are text views. So the type of variable is going to be text view, and we're going to have text view for. We're going to have a text view for note body text view, and we're going to have text view for edit BTN text view. We're also going to have a text view for lit. So can end that line. So here in the constructor, just under the super, we're going to initialize those variables, and to do that, start with node body equal to say item view dot find view by ID r.id dot, and what we're interested in is note body. So this first one, and we're going to get that for edit still equal to item view dot find view by ID r.id dot r.id dot r.id dot edit text view. So that is that, and we'll do that for delete item view find view by ID r.id dot delete text view. So we've initialized all our views. So next thing we're going to do on this method on create view holder, on the method we're going to be returning note view holder. You can delete this. We're going to be returning a note view holder.
sound. You need to turn your sound on.
Okay,
now.
Can you see my?
Yes. Yes
And you
and
can.
yes.
All right,
Yes.
great.
Thank
So
you.
we're back in this method on create view holder. So we are going to make reference to. So we're going to be making reference to. We're going to be connecting this file to our adapter. So all we'll do is layout inflator.from. So we need a context. So the context is going to come from parent dot get context. Then we can go out and dot inflate. Then for the inflate, I need to specify the layout file. So r.layout.NotesItem. Then comma, we need to specify the root view, the view group. So the view group is parent. The view group is parent. And the final value we're supposed to specify is to attach to root, and the value there is going to be false. So now we can return our view holder. So we return new note view holder, and we supply the view. So that solves that. So at this point, we can move to unbind view holder. So this method unbind view holder connects data to our views. The views are going to be displayed on our screen. So it connects data to it. So we can come down here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
I think Jonas said he can't see my screen.
Yes, you can. We can. I can see.
I can see your head plus.
Okay, so Jonas, I think you're alone on that.
Okay.
No, I'm seeing everything.
All right. So we get back to unbind view holder. So unbind view holder connects data to our views. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to try to create a variable to hold a single note item. So say note equal to note list dot get. So it needs an index. So our index is position, this value here. So we're going to put position as our index. So now we have a single note item, can now start binding data. So for this project, we're interested in just one view at this point. Now we're interested in just one view. So that view is, sorry, I had to do this. We can delete this, this is unnecessary. So that view we're interested in, we can get a view from holder dot note body dot set text. So we're going to set the value of the text to our variable note dot get note body. So this sets this value to our note. So with this, we have an adapter that should work to some extent, but eventually we need to come back and still try to add code that's going to handle clicks, because in our app, the user is going to be able to click edit and click delete. So this adapter currently can't handle that. But we're going to do that eventually, but let's move to the next thing. So the next thing to consider is our note model or Pojo. We created this class yesterday. I've made some edits to the class. I've added this field for timestamp. So this field of timestamps helps us to get the current time the data was inserted into our database. And this is coming from the server. The time is on the server, not on your local device. So you don't have to worry about whether the date and time on your device is correct or not. So the time comes from the server, which is a plus. So we have a field for ID, owner ID, and note ID. We have getters and setters. I had to update this code from what we have yesterday. I removed the ID from our constructor here. Yesterday we had something like string ID. We had something like this. So I had to remove that and also remove the reference to that here. Like this is the state of this file yesterday. So this was the state. So I had to remove this line and this, because we won't be needing those. Now our model is ready. Is there any question? So I guess there's none. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is we need to go back to our add note activity. So these are add note activity, and in our add note activity we have an add button, and we've created an on-click listener to handle what happens when the button is clicked. So we're going to create a new method that we're calling save note. Call the method save note. And just like we did yesterday, we're going to hit Alt Enter and create the note. So here create a method rather. So here's our method. Now another thing we need to do is we need to create a field that's going to hold an instance of our Cloud Firestore. So we're going to start typing Firestore. So we select Cloud Firestore, and we're going to call this field MDB. Then over here, we can initialize that MDB equal to Firebase get instance. So now we have an instance of our Cloud Firestore database, and we can come down here and start writing our code that handles what's going to happen when the user clicks on the save button. And we could create a variable here. Let's call it note body. It's going to be equal to note the content of this edit text to string to have that. So now we're going to have to switch to Chrome and take a look at the documentation for Cloud Firestore. So we'll see how we can do insert. So let's switch to Chrome. So here we are back in Chrome, and this is a link to the documentation for adding data. I already have it open here. So this contains a whole lot of different methods of adding data. We are going to be going with this one that uses the method .add. If you look up here, or you look down, you see things like .set, you see .update. So the one we're going to be using is .add. Why we're using .add is that .add helps us to create a unique ID, an automatic ID every time we insert data, and that's going to be helpful for our case. So that's what we're going to be using. So to do that, we can just basically we can basically copy this code. You can copy this code and go back to Android Studio. So back in Android Studio, you can paste the code, and we need to add our database here, mdb.collection. So for this variable here that says data, and this collection that says cities, we're going to be changing ours to notes. That's going to be our collections. Then for our data, we're going to create a new object of note, which is going to be equal to new note. So this constructor, we're going to specify two values in our. We want to inject two values into our constructor. One is going to be like the user ID, that's the owner. Then the next one is going to be the data. So our data is note body. So these are the two values we're going to supply. So now we're going to worry about how to get our owner ID. How are we going to get the owner ID? So that's something we have to worry about at this point. So to do that, we need to bring in Firebase Auth. So can create Firebase Auth and Auth. And down here again, you can say mauth equal to Firebase Auth dot get instance. If you are writing a code like a production app, you need to do some node check. You need to do some node safety checks. So, but for this project, we're not going to be doing that so much. So we're just going to come here and say auth dot So we can do this. So mauth dot get current user dot get UID. You can see we're getting like the chances we might get null pointer. So let's just keep moving. So over here in our add, you can change data to note. And we just have to do some bunch of imports, alt enter, and we can get rid of this log and probably show a toast message. So toast message, like you can say note added, and in order to create a better user experience, we can do finish. This is going to close the screen. It's going to close the screen, the add note screen. And over here, we can just delete this, do this import, alt enter. And over here, we can also show a toast. Maybe something tell the user, oops, something went wrong. Something like that. So with this, if we got it right, we need to end this line. This is a mistake here. So with this, if we got it right, when we run our app, we should be able to add data to. We should be able to add data to our database. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to try to connect my phone. And hit the green play button. Let's pray nothing breaks. So while we wait for the build, I'm just going to try to see if you guys are still with me. Are we there?
Yes, we are here.
Great. So we're still waiting for our app to build. So I think the app crashed. So the app crashed. You can see that here. So it's saying there's something wrong in main activity. Okay, so the issue, we have an issue with a recycler view. With the designing of the recycler view, there is no width property set. So I'm just going to go back to our activity main and fix that. So this is our recycler view. So the complaints about the width of our recycler view. You can see obviously the width is blank. So if we like, we can set it to 0 dp, which even the height, you can also set it to 0 dp. The reason why we're able to use 0 dp is because we already have constraints at the two opposite ends, So we have constraint layout box. If you have constraints on two opposite ends and you set width to 0, you're trying to tell Android to fill the whole screen. So with this, we can try running our app again. Okay. So our app is currently running. Our app is currently running. I'm just going to try to find a way to bring it up to the screen. So our app is currently running. App is running. So here is our app. And to add a new note, we click on the overflow menu and select new note. So we can type the content of our note. I'm going to click on the add button. So if our notes, yeah, so you see the toast and it brought us back to this screen. So I'm going to show us another exciting thing. Here we are back in Chrome, and this is our database. I'm going to click here now. And this is our database. I'm going to try to show us our data from the database. So can we see the screen? So here's our data. If you can see the screen, this is our data. So the way Cloud Firestore works, it stores data in collections and documents. So a collection can have a document can have a collection. So we have a note, because we use add method, Cloud Firestore is generating this ID for us, generating this random ID for us. Then this is our data. This is our data. And our ID is null. Then this is the body. This is the owner's ID. This is like your user ID on Firebase authentication. And this is time added, the timestamp we created. So that explains how data is stored on Cloud Firestore. So with that, we've been able to do the part where we insert data. So we're back to Android Studio. We're going back to trying to see how we can show our data to the user, how we can display our data to the user. So in order to do that, we're coming back to main activity. Here, back in our main activity, we're going to be creating some new variables. The first one we're going to create is going to be for our recycler view. So we can still call it recycler view. Then in our onCreate method, we can decide to assign a value for it. So this is going to be equal to find view by ID, r.id. We already so our recycler view doesn't have an ID yet, so we need to go and fix that. So when we go back to main activity, this is our recycler view, and this is a field for the ID. So we're going to call it note_recycler view. That's the ID for our recycler view. We can come back here. Now we get it. This is it. So the next thing we're going to do, a recycler view needs a layout manager. So we're going to do that. So we'll set the layout manager, recycler view.set layout manager, say new linear layout manager, and it needs a context can supply this. So with that, we've created a layout manager. So the next thing we need to do is to create an adapter. We're going to create an instance of our adapter. So our adapter is NotesAdapter. So we can also call it adapter. And we need to create a field that's going to hold our list. So we'll also create that list of type note, note list. Array, so this will do Auth enter to import this, and this is going to be equal to the new array list. So this is going to be an array list, and we can come down here and set a value for our adapter, and our adapter is going to be adapter equal to new NotesAdapter. So NotesAdapter expects a list. So we're going to give it our list array. So that sets our NotesAdapter. And at this point, we need to create a method that's going to read data from Cloud Firestore. So I'm going to call that method read notes. And I'll be hitting Alt Enter and create method. So these are read notes method. Now we can go back to the documentation to see the instructions for reading data from Cloud Firestore. So here we are back in Cloud Firestore. And this is the code to read data. And this is what we are interested in. This multiple documents in a collection. So this is what we're interested in. And we can just copy this code to this point. And we go back to Android Studio and paste it. We need to add a database here. I'm guessing we've not created a field for our database here yet. So we also need to create that. Let's just create that below this. And Firestore MDB. And maybe just under here. To Firestore.get instance. So there we have our database. So we're going to be changing this to notes. And on this where statement, or where methods, we're going to be changing it to owner ID. We're interested in getting the owner ID. And since we already have an instance of Firebase Auth, which is here, we have an instance of Firebase Auth. So our owner ID, this owner ID, it's going to be auth dot get current user dot get UID. So that gives us our current user. So we can go back to Alt Enter to import, Alt Enter to import, and we import we can get rid of this. Also, we import here. We won't need this line. Rather, we're going to be creating note object. So it's going to be equal to we're creating this inside the loop. So we're going to create a note object equal to doc.toObject and specify note.class. So it's going to be a note object, and with that, we don't need to do something like this. Rather, we can check using note.get or .get note body. We can do that instead. So here we can also get rid of this line. And get rid of that line, and we can try to add a value to our list. So we can add that. We can also get rid of this. And one important thing too, before the loop, we need to clear our node list. We need to clear our node list. And at the end, we need to notify dataset change on our adapter, so the adapter is refreshed. And with this, we should be ready to show data on our app. So let's try running the app and see if it breaks. So our app doesn't break, but it's not showing anything, and that's because we missed one step. We forgot to set the adapter to our recycler view. So we do that using m recycler view.set adapter. Set adapter, and we're going to set the adapter to m adapter. So with this, I'll try reloading again. Let's see what we'll have. Try running the app again and see what we have. Okay, so here's our app, and you can see this is the note I've added. Can we see it? Can we see the app? Okay, so if we should add another note, you see it here. So one of the benefits of Cloud Firestore is that it's a real-time database. So you don't need to refresh the page, it automatically gets updated. So at this point, we've been able to write data to our database, we've been able to read back the data, and what we're just left with now is fixing edit and delete. So when we tap these buttons, we get actions for that. And we're quickly going to try to do that now. We will need to make some modifications to our adapter. And on the first thing we need, we're going to create an interface. We're going to create an interface, recycler view click listener is going to be an interface, and this will be the content of That's class. So I'm just going to copy this and we come here back to our package name, right click, Java class, and recycler view. I'm going to confirm. Recycler view, click listener. Add this. Use this. Alt enter to make this import. So we have our interface. So we can go back to our adapter and add an extra field for the interface. We can say recycler, you click listener, and listener. And we also modify the constructor. And we need to make a modification to our view folder. We're using this format for so we need to also add a click listener to the constructor of our view folder. It's going to be a final field. So we can come down here, final, cycler view click listener. And we can just call it listener. And then to get rid of this, we need to supply listener here. So with this, we have a on-click listener for the view and the items on our list. We have it in our adapter already. We just need to set the code that gets it in motion. So we want to set edit button.set and click listener, new, and click listener. And inside here, we're going to be checking if listener is not null, then listener dot on view clicked view comma get adapter position. So this is a code for our edit button. These are the code for our delete button. Pretty similar. Listener, it's not null. And listener dot on view and view get adapter position. And we're pretty much done with that. So we'll go back to our main activity. We should be getting warnings because the constructor of our adapter has changed. So we need to specify a listener here. So first we need to implement the interface we created. So we implement recycler with click listener. And it's going to ask us to implement the abstract methods. So you click on implement methods, both methods are required. So implement those methods. And we can come down here. We'll be interested in working with this on view click, not row. So for on view click, we'll come down here and have like a conditional statement that is going to check v dot get id equal r dot id dot we're interested in, let's say, the edit button. So this controls what's going to happen when the user clicks on edit. Before we go further, let's create an object of notes for our current notes. So this is going to be the current note item. It's equal to m note list array get and position for the index. Then over here, when the user clicks on edit, what we're going to try to do is, well, we're going to try to use the add note activity to also edit the note. So create an intent, new intent. So our context, let's say get application context, and our destination is going to be add note activity dot class. So that's our intent. So we need to send some data through this intent to the next activity. So to do that, you say intent dot put extra. So this is a key value pair. So the key for this, we're going to say ID, then the value. Now this is going to lead us to creating, to make a little bit of modification to read notes method here. So what we're going to be doing here is just inside here, before we add to our list, just inside here, we're going to be setting note dot set ID, and we'll be setting the ID to dot get ID. That's what we're going to do here. So this gives us that unique ID that Cloud Store creates for us. So set it in the ID field. So that is what we're going to pass here in our intent. That's what we're going to pass in our intent. So we can now say m this array dot get ID. Sorry, we already have our note, an instance of our note, current note dot get ID. So that's what we're going to be passing. We'll also be passing the content, the body of our note. So put extra. We can call this body, comma, and current note dot get note body. And now we can start activity for intent. So what this is going to do when the user clicks on edit, it's going to take the user to add note activity, and it's passing this data. So we are going to make a modification to get this rid of this red line. We need to make a modification to our constructor here, which is also to specify the click listener. So we can just pass this. So our click listener has been specified. So now we need to go back to add notes activity and add some changes. So under the onCreate method, we are going to try to retrieve the data we pass through intent. So over here too, we're going to create a new intent. This time around, use get intent. So we're trying to retrieve an intent, not create a new one. So use get intent. Then we're going to check if intent is not null, and we're going to try to set up a variable to hold our ID and our message. So we can create a field up here, and create a field up here, and the field's going to be, what are going to be string. So this could be ID, this could be body, and we can come down here And if this is a null, we should set ID to be equal to intent dot get string extra and a key ID, and you can set body to be equal to intent dot get string extra body. So we're going to go down to our initialize method. We're going to go down to our initialize method and make some modification. So the modification we're going to be making is to our on-click listener. We're going to make some modifications to our on-click listener for the add button, change height box. So over here, we're going to check if use text util, check if the ID is empty. So we're just going to invert it to check if the ID is not empty. We should run the method if the ID is not empty, we should run the method update note. And else, that if it's empty, we should run save note. Another little thing we want to do here, up here, we can also check if see text util, text util dot is empty. So where you're going to check if our body is not empty, you set the value for our note edit text to body. So now we're left with one step, and that step is to create the method that updates note. This is a method, and we have to go back to Firebase documentation. I have to go back to our Firebase documentation and read the documentation for updating. So this is the documentation for updating our data. So we're just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this and take it back here. Now we need to create a reference. So I can come here and create a variable document reference, and let's call it note ref. It's going to be equal to ed dot collection. Our collection is notes dot document, and our document is going to be the ID. Document is going to be the ID. So our document is our ID. So we can change this to note ref, and we can delete this, show a toast instead, and show note updated. And over here, we can show now toast saying something went wrong. So I can show that. And we need to change this field here because we're interested in the body of our notes. So we need to update that to note body. And we can come back here and change that to note body. And the value is going to be the current text in our edit text. So the current text in our edit text to get that is note edit text dot get text dot pro string. That gets our current text in our edit text. So if we got everything right, if we try running our app now, we should be able to update. The value there. So I'm trying to run our app now, and besides that, we're left with just one more task to complete this app, and that is handling delete. Let's test this, then we can move to delete. So our app is running. There's our app running. So I'm going to tap on edit. And I'm going to add updated and click on the add button and wait. Okay. So we've got the toast saying note updated, but I didn't add finish. So we'll have to press back manually and you see the content here. It's not updated. So we could just add finish to that. We could just add finish. So here, just after the toast, we can add finish to close this activity. So now we have code for our update. We just left with code for delete and we'll be done. So here we are back in main activity. Over here, we can see return. And we can come here and write another if statement. And if v represents our v.getId is equal to r.id dot. So this is going for the delete text view. So now we need to write the code that deletes. So we're just going to create a method here and say delete note. We're going to create a method call it delete note. And we probably want to pass the ID. So we probably want to pass the ID. So that is current node dot get ID. Pass the ID to that method, and you can hit Alt Enter to create the method. And here's our method. So what we need to do now is to go back to the Firebase documentation. Here's the documentation for the delete. And this is the code we are interested in. So we can copy this and go back to Android Studio and paste it here. So we go into update DB. We do update DB. And our collection is notes. And our document path is ID. Then we do some imports. And we can get rid of this. And as usual, just so we show it toast. And so say note deleted. And more imports of enter to get rid of this. Let's show it toast. And this is gonna have a message that says our usual. Oops. Something went wrong. So with that, I think our app it's done. All the features we promised to have from the beginning of our slide, we've been able to have them. So this is to add data, we've done that. Read data, we've done that. And we've been able to display data using the recycler view. We now have ability to edit and delete. And here's where we specified our features. So we've been able to get all these things done. And here's our app running. Here's our app running. I'm just going to add a new note, a lot of random characters. And here's a new note, and I can click on delete and it's gone. So we've been able to build our app using Firebase authentication, and we've also been able to use Cloud Firestore. So at this point, I think we've been able to get all the features of our app. So are you guys with me?